The first thing that stops me here is not the desert. It is the wall rising out of silence. This mud brick mass has survived wind, sun, conquest, and forgetting, while the world looked north toward Egypt.
Standing here, I cannot help asking why this monument is not as famous as the pyramids.
This is Kerma, near the Third Cataract of the Nile, where Nubian power once rose beside the river. It was not a village in Egypt's shadow, and it was not a forgotten outpost waiting for explanation.
Kerma had its own power, rituals, architecture, and story, even when later history tried to reduce it.
So the question is not simply what happened here, but why so many people were taught to look past it. Long before archaeologists arrived, these ruins were already part of the land, visible to those who lived nearby.
To me, that is the first mystery. A place can stand in plain sight and still be misunderstood.
European travelers recorded the Defufas in the early 19th century, describing strange monuments in Sudan's ancient landscape. They saw the structures, measured their presence, and carried the descriptions outward, but understanding remained somewhere beyond the horizon.
Seeing a ruin is one thing. Understanding the world that built it is something much harder.
In 1913, George Andrew Reisner arrived in northern Sudan with the Harvard University Boston Museum of Fine Arts expedition. He came with training, discipline, tools, and the confidence of early 20th century archaeology behind him.
But even a careful archaeologist can carry assumptions heavier than the sand he is trying to remove.
At Kerma, Reisner encountered the Western Deffufa, royal tombs, fine jewelry, funerary beds, statues, pottery, and ritual complexity. This was not a scatter of poor remains. This was the footprint of organized authority and remembered power.
I find Reisner's moment fascinating because he found greatness, but struggled to believe it belonged fully here.
Egyptian objects, including the statue of Lady Senoui, pulled his interpretation back toward Egypt again. So Kerma was noticed, named, and studied, but not yet restored as the Nubian kingdom it had been.
That restoration came later, when Charles Bonnet returned to Kerma and began asking a different kind of question.
Instead of asking how Egypt explained Kerma, he asked what Kerma revealed about itself. Once that question changed, the ruins changed too, becoming evidence of an African capital with its own life.
And that is where the story turns. Because Kerma stops being background and becomes the center.
Kerma flourished for roughly 1,000 years, from about 2500 to 1500 BCE, in northern Sudan and southern Egypt. Its capital stood near the Third Cataract, around 45 kilometers north of modern Dongola.
That location was never random. The Nile here is not just water. It is movement.
It is survival, trade, strategy, and a road made of river between different worlds. To the north was Egypt. To the south and west were African roots rich with resources.
Whoever controlled this corridor controlled more than land. They controlled contact between worlds.
Kerma understood that, and at its height became the most powerful Nubian state of its age. Its culture stretched from the Second Cataract to beyond the Fourth, more than 200 miles.
And here is the detail that always makes me stop. The city may have held only 2,000 people.
Yet its cultural reach spread across a vast Nile landscape, far beyond the city's own population. That tells us Kerma's strength was not only numbers. It was organization, ritual, trade, authority, and position.
At the center of all this stood the Western Deffufa, rising like the weight of the city itself.
Even today it rises around 18 meters, though in antiquity it probably stood higher. It was built of mud brick, not stone, and that difference matters more than we realize.
Stone survives loudly. Mudbrick survives quietly, and when it remains this long, I see stubbornness.
The Deffufa had multiple levels, an interior staircase, a rooftop platform, and subterranean chambers. Around it were homes, storage areas, administrative spaces, industrial zones, a royal audience hall, palace, and partial fortification.
Now pause for a moment and imagine it alive, not as ruins, but as a breathing city.
Morning light strikes the walls. The Nile glows green beyond the sand. Potters shape vessels beside cattle and storage room. Above everything, the Deffufa stands like the spiritual weight of Kerma, watching over labor, ritual, and memory.
What I find extraordinary is that Kerma does not need to imitate Egypt to be impressive.
Its architecture is different. Its pottery is different. Its burial traditions are different. Its story is different. The black-topped Kerma beakers show this beautifully, thin-walled, hand-shaped, polished, and fired with remarkable control.
They are small enough to hold, but they carry the signature of a civilization.
Then there are the royal cemeteries, where Kerma's elite burials reveal wealth, belief, rank, and memory. Some tombs held wooden funerary beds, ivory and bronze elements, jewelry, ceramics, stone vessels, and animal-shaped inlays.
That moves me. Because a grave is never only about death. It is about what the living remember.
Kerma's relationship with Egypt was never simple. It was trade, exchange, rivalry, pressure, and eventually war. Egyptian goods entered Kerma. Kerma goods appeared in Egypt. Even pottery crossed borders, though some interpretations remain uncertain.
By about 1650 BCE, Kerma's rulers came into conflict with Middle Kingdom Egypt, and the map begins to shift.
Kerma's army, known especially for archers, pushed north of Egyptian fortresses near the Second Cataract. We often imagine Egypt pushing south, but here the pressure sometimes comes from the south.
Kerma was not passively waiting at Egypt's border. Kerma was acting, advancing, and forcing Egypt to answer.
Around 1500 BCE, New Kingdom pharaohs conquered Kerma and brought Kush under Egyptian control. Forts and temples followed, but conquest did not erase what had existed before it.
This is where Kerma becomes more than archaeology. It becomes a lesson in how memory is controlled.
The side with writing, stone temples, royal propaganda, and later fame often becomes the side that tells the story. Kerma had monuments, objects, burials, and power, but not the same written archive to explain its inner life.
So archaeology has to speak where texts are silent, and sometimes it speaks more honestly than royal propaganda.
The first great mystery is the Western Deffufa itself, a monument described as sacred, but not fully understood. Most scholars see a temple or religious center, yet the exact rituals performed there remain beyond our reach.
What happened on those levels, beneath those chambers, or on that rooftop platform is still unanswered.
Without Kerma's own surviving written voice, archaeologists work through architecture, objects, burials, and comparison. They can tell us what was built, but not every word spoken inside those walls.
What I find extraordinary is the silence. Not emptiness, but a silence left by missing voices.
The second mystery lies in the royal cemeteries, where some elite tombs included accompanying human burials. Researchers suggest they may have been relatives, retainers, or prisoners of war, but their identities remain uncertain.
These were real people, not background details, and archaeology cannot fully restore their thoughts.
The third mystery is Kerma's wider population and political network, especially what nearby Dukki Gel may reveal. There, architecture appears that does not fit neatly into Egyptian or traditional Nubian patterns.
Some researchers connect this to groups from southern Sudan or Central Africa, but caution is still necessary.
Geomagnetic evidence may point to troop installations, though some of it still requires excavation and interpretation. Some see a ceremonial or military center linked to Kerma's allies. Others argue the evidence remains incomplete.
And honestly, both cases are compelling, because Kerma may have drawn strength from a broader African world.
The Nile, desert routes, cattle paths, trade goods, military pressure, and alliances made Kerma more than a city. They made it a center of relationships, a place where power moved through people, goods, and memory.
Then comes the largest mystery. Why was Kerma overlooked for so long, despite everything still standing here?
One answer is evidence. Egypt left texts, temples, inscriptions, royal names, and records later historians could follow. Kerma left architecture, burials, pottery, and objects, but not the same written archive to defend itself.
Another answer is interpretation. Early archaeology often looked at Sudan through Egypt before Kerma was allowed to speak.
Reisner's work was important, but his conclusion that Kerma depended on Egypt did not survive later evidence. Bonnet's excavations helped reveal Kerma as an indigenous Nubian capital, not simply an Egyptian outpost.
Kerma was overlooked partly because of what vanished, but also because some ignored what survived.
The mudbrick walls disagree with that silence. The royal tombs, pottery, trade, fortifications, and palace all disagree. History does not always disappear because it is destroyed. Sometimes louder voices simply stand in front of it.
Every so often, a wall survives long enough to speak again. And when it does, we listen.